Alright, hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today, I wanted to talk about Nexomon Extinction. Now this is a game that is released on the PS4, the Nintendo Switch, as well as, I believe you can get it on Steam, if I'm not mistaken, and it's also, they have the physical copies, they also have the digital copies as well. This is actually a lot of fun. The basic premise of this game is very, very similar to Pokemon. It's a monster catching game where your main objective, the main point of it, is to catch as many monsters as you can, train them up, evolve them, and build your ultimate party of different types of monsters and things like that. And I gotta say, this is a lot of fun. As somebody that grew up, playing the Pokemon games, every single Pokemon game, loved those, beat those, Elite Four, caught all 151 in the original gen, all the different Pokemon, as the Pokedex got bigger over the years, very invested in the Pokemon ecosystem. And coming into this game, that's gotten some pretty good reviews. I was pleasantly surprised because I have played other kind of knockoff monster catching games, and this is certainly not a knockoff in the sense that it feels extremely original. There's no gyms, there's no sort of main rival, I guess, that you have that you battle throughout the course of the game. There's definitely adversaries that you fight through the game, but there's no Gary, in the games there. There's no N from like Pokemon Black and White. Like there's no enemy that you're going to just continue to battle as you go on through the game. And what's a sort of an interesting twist right at the beginning of the game is that you actually have, I believe it's 9 different starters to choose from. So there's multiple different starters. But also, it's kind of a moot point because if you pick a starter and you're not too happy with that starter, you can actually catch all 9 of the starters out in the wild. Now they're on the rarer side, so it's not like you'll just constantly run into them. It is a bit of a special thing when you run into them in the wild, but you do have the opportunity to catch all 9 starters if you want to, and if you pick one that you're not too happy with, or if you picked one that you initially liked, but then you found out there was a better one that would better fit your party, then you can catch that one out in the wild. So it's a pretty interesting twist in that sense. And then also, like I said, they don't have gyms. There are these sort of larger Nexomon that are called tyrants, and those are kind of like your boss battles in the game. So those, over the course of the game, you're going to fight different tyrants and things like that, and you're going to, run into other tamers, as they call them, which are basically your trainers from Pokemon. And so, you'll fight other tamers and things like that, but it's a very interesting game, and it looks amazing. Playing it on the big screen, playing it on my PS4, being able to see these very nice graphics, just very large on the TV, coming from somebody that's always played Pokemon games handheld, it looks great and it's very immersive. The sound design is great. They did a great job with the soundtrack of the game, the different Nexomon sounds, the attack sounds, just the clicking through the menus, and just walking through the grass, doing various different things. They really paid a lot of attention to the sound design, the graphics, just the overall experience. Whereas what a lot of other monster catching games like to do is they like to focus on the monsters themselves and just to kind of give you that Pokemon feel of catching monsters, maybe evolving them, maybe training them up, things like that, but it sort of just feels very geared towards that. Whereas with Nexomon Extinction in particular, and I'll get into how this is actually a sequel in a moment, but Nexomon Extinction actually has a plot. There is a point to what you're doing. There is an ultimate end goal. There's actual stakes in the game. You're trying to save the world. It's a very, very intriguing game, especially as an adult, to where if I can, if I were to play this with my son, he would probably enjoy certain aspects of like catching the Nexomon, training the Nexomon, evolving them, fighting, things like that. He'd probably enjoy that, but then there's a bit more for the adults too, of the story that really draws you in, the mystery of sort of who you are and the role of the story, and things like that, and the characters, the world building, the lore that's in there is very, very interesting, very well thought out, if I might say, and the different characters that you interact with, they could have a deeper backstory. There's a wide range of the type of characters that you run into. You'll always have your just kind of by the book NPCs that you don't really care about. But then there are certain characters that you do care about, and there's one character by the name of Coco that actually stays with you through the journey, and he's actually very, very funny. He makes jokes about, sort of the very kind of game-like thing that a lot of characters do in games is when they get an object, they kind of do this twirl and they turn around and then they hold it up in the sky, and then there's little almost like little fireworks that come off of the object because you got the key that you were looking for, or you got a trophy, or you won something, and you kind of like show it off to the screen, and then something like that happens in the game here, and Coco just kind of takes a second and he says, well, that's kind of weird, why are you doing that, everyone's looking at you, sort of thing. So it's very cheeky and on the nose with its humor, and there's a lot of things that just that happen in video games that wouldn't happen in real life, and Coco is kind of there to make a joke about, well, why are you sending 2 kids out on this quest to save the world? Why are you sending 2 kids out to do this dangerous side mission or something like that? So it's very on the nose with its humor, and it really keeps you interested and wanting to see, how Coco's going to react to this thing, or whatever. But he's also not a major point of the game. I mean, you play as your character, and you have different character types to choose from, so you can choose how your character looks. But the game is very much about you, and Coco is just very clearly there as a side character. But you care enough about Coco to want to see what his reactions are to the various things that are going on. So, it's a lot of fun. It's a really, really good game, and it's a good time. I mean, I want to say it's $20 on the PSN store. I just wanted the physical copy, so I got it for like $25 on Amazon. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's worth it. It is. If you are wondering if this game is worth the $20 to get it digitally, or the $25 to get it physically, or whatever the price is now, the short answer is yes, it absolutely is. If you have ever liked Pokemon, if you've ever had any interest in the monster catching genre, just the general idea of catching monsters and training them and building your party of different elements, different types, it's very, very much worth it. And even if you're a longtime Pokemon player, there's enough new mechanics in this game to keep you interested. Like I said, there's no gyms, there is a main plot, there's a main point to what you're doing, so that's enough to keep you interested. But then there's also the little things of, if you wanted to catch a Nexomon, or tame a Nexomon as they call it, just the simple mechanic of, you don't just throw a Pokeball, for instance, and just, hope that it catches, based off of the catch rate. You actually throw your Nexo Trap, as they call it, and you actually have a series of QuickTime button prompts that you have to hit in the right order, and you only have about 3.5 seconds or something like that to hit all the buttons. So it keeps you on your toes in that sense, so it's something new for every Nexomon that you're trying to catch. It's a new random prompt of different buttons, so it's the unique, the experience to catch Nexomon is very unique. And then also, the battling in the game as well. And I've mentioned this in the previous video, but you don't just have your power points like you do in Pokemon. You actually have a stamina system. So if you use a very powerful attack that deals a lot of damage, that also takes a good bit of your stamina out too. And so, each Nexomon has a certain amount of stamina, and you can maybe get, 3 or 4 strong attacks out, depending on, your specific Nexomon and how much stamina they have. There's some Nexomon that have higher stamina than others. But yeah, I mean, you can usually get, 3 or 4 strong attacks out, or, however many light attacks and things like that out. And then, once the stamina goes down, you can choose to rest to regain your stamina, or you can choose to pop an ether to rebuild your stamina, right away. So it is a lot of fun. And yeah, it's a good game. So if you are thinking about getting Nexomon Extinction, I highly recommend it, and you surely will have a lot of fun with it. That is my promise to you. And whether you get it digitally or physically, it's a lot of fun, and it's definitely worth the time. Whether you are a long-time die-hard Pokemon fan, or you played it back in your back when you were a kid, however many years ago, and the excitement and fun that you had in Pokemon is still somewhat inside of you. So yeah, if you're looking to kind of get back into that with a little bit of a twist, then yeah, I would definitely recommend you get Nexomon Extinction. And then kind of the last point is, this is actually a sequel. There is an original game called Nexomon, and then this is actually the sequel, Nexomon Extinction. I actually haven't played the original game. And I want to say that you don't really need any sort of backstory to it. You don't need to have played the first game to appreciate the second game. I'm sure you'd have a deeper appreciation for the second game if you played the first game. But as far as the story, you don't necessarily need to have played the first game. So that's, I do just want to kind of throw that out there, that especially if you pick this game up and you have a lot of fun with it, you could always go back and get the original Nexomon game, which I think is also available digitally, or I think it's only available digitally. I don't think they ever made a physical copy of it. And that might be $10. I think it's a little bit less than Extinction. So it is a lot of fun. If you wanted to go back and play the original Nexomon, which I do plan to do eventually. But in the meantime, I'm having a lot of fun with Extinction, and I've logged in quite a few hours into the game here, and it's a lot of fun. A lot of different environments that you can be in, a lot of different Nexomon that you can tame and train and evolve, and the tyrants, the tyrant boss battles feel very interesting. I have a little bit of an investment in the game, so it is a lot of fun. So yeah, I definitely recommend that you pick up Nexomon Extinction. Alright, well, I will catch you guys in the next one. Take care.